for next season, and from 4 current spec bikes, that will be of course the GP25 for next season, Marquez and Fermin Aldeguer at Grassini and Frankie Morbidelli at...
Yeah, it's ginormous. A little embrace between Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi. Interesting to see how this relationship evolves between the pair of them. Certainly fair to say back in 2018, I think it was capped at 53,000. It was a sellout. And
Fives on the grid next year. He'll be expecting podiums, won't he? No mistake about that. Of course, VR46 now are the official independent Ducati team, if you like, taking that particular status away from Prima Pramac now that they're the satellite independent Yamaha concern. But if you go back to 2022 with Fabio Di Gianantonio, he was at a bit of a low ebb late in that rookie season, really struggling to make the grade. He did have that pole position, of course, in Mugello in a slightly rain-affected qualifying session, but he was finding the going really, really tough in that rookie season, and boy is he turning it around.
Vibration issues though have been carried through 2024 pretty much for its entirety by the likes of Honda in particular. Joan Mir has never been able to, was just pushing the front, overpowering the front too much of Marco Bezzecchi on that GP23, just complaining.
But like anyone in this business, he has lofty ambitions and he wants to be a
few World Champions heading out on circuit here today. What a moment this is, a moment that's so special for any rookie. I saw inside the Trackhouse race moments, Ayagura, Somkat Chantra and Fermin Aldeguer, they would have been dreaming of this moment for so many years, weren't they? As the number 54.
I understand that you're going to be testing next week as well in Jerez. Is that the case? And just finally, one new rider in the lineup, a rookie in Somkat Chantra. I've seen him, there's a smile.
It is very chilly here in mid-November. I imagine the ambient temperature now only sort of around 11.
Job for the teams is to wait it down a little bit and let the test riders do a lot of the work. Miguel Oliveira, of course, it'll be interesting to see how much running he does today, given of course his physical point of view. Jack Miller, of course, his new teammate down at Pramac Race.
17 since a 5th in Portimao, but that 5th place in Portimao, there were very few and far between, weren't there, those top 6 finishes. Formula, he ended up with only 4 top 10s in 19 Grand Prix this year. But he is going to bring a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge and information.
Into Pramac, and he certainly did take the KTM project forward, helped it move forward when he joined them back at the beginning of 2023, but ultimately KTM said when they made the decision to go in a new direction for this season that ultimately Brad Binder and Pedro Acosta were getting more out of the progress that...
Going into the back of the Aprilia truck, I was expecting a little... the eyes to be a little bit redder.
I was amazed how early in the day it was.
Yeah, you can get the neck out of that motorcycle. He's clearly one of the most talented riders Aprilia have ever had on their books. Pressure on Aprilia, you have to say, Lewis. I mean, it's been a pretty disappointing season. Yeah, tap on his shoulder really angered himself, because he'd have known that the first thing that all riders have been saying to themselves is be careful when you go into turn 5 out of turn 2 across the weekend, and that's why Marini gave himself a proper whack on the helmet.
To Ducati developing the story, and while all of the journalists in the paddock were chasing up and down the paddock trying to get some information, and going to change a lot, of course, and he's going to have to get used to all of the world champion duties.
Bellini himself, we've got the best bike. I want to see what a rider of Marc Marquez's ilk, of his talent.
Of course, it's not going to be an easy job to beat him, and of course, from Ducati's point of view, they're going to have to try and keep them both happy, and we've already seen them
follow the project many years, and of course, working with KTM already a really long time, and all the communication and coordination of the project is we of course follow a lot. That competition is really tough now in order to keep some patience for the older development, and we need to trust each other for the work what we do. And
how does it feel to be back working with Brad in particular after such a long time? Pedro, of course, not too long ago, but 2 guys that you had great success with down the years.
First of all, yes, they are go step by step and understand what you are doing.
Okay, thanks for your time. Good luck today and for next year.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks. Top as the Moto2 World Champion, but the MotoGP World Champion, having left Ducati for Aprilia, begins his new adventure here. The defence of his world title with Aprilia starts now.
He picks his way through the swarms of media camped outside the factory Aprilia garage.
GP World Championship winning so many races this year, and of course taking a 1-2 in the World Championship with Jorge Martin and Pecco Bagnaia, and Jorge Martin test, and then the first race in Buriram at the start of March next year, where Jorge Martin will finally begin his World Championship defence.
The sort of snub was a big motivational factor, didn't he? in 2024, and he's going to want to...
And square. And he also thanks Gigi Dall'Igna for putting all that faith in him as he gets a little bit crossed up there into turn number 10. First error as world champion for Jorge Martin as he tries to explore.
Of what the manufacturers are thinking in terms of updates, upgrades, and how they can make themselves stronger. Of course, the one, the only, Simon Crowfar. Good morning, buddy. I know you were up very, very early this morning, a little bit chilly in pit lane, but you were there with about 6-7 layers on. So what have you spotted? What have we got?
Yeah, I just thought I'd do a little bit of a roundup of how the day started as I look in each garage.
Jaw dropping to watch through turn 5 on the Aprilia. That's what he was on the Ducati. A little pat on the tank.
Yeah, yeah, that one as well.
Yeah. He loves a bit of showboating, doesn't he? We love it as well, Jorge. Don't worry, carry on. Absolutely brilliant. Just those beautiful new Alpine Stars leathers, though. The testing leathers already got all the big scuff marks on the left shoulder and the left elbow.
T5.
So, if you guys are right, I'll run through what I've seen in this garage, both sides. I looked at Pecco's bikes warming up. It must be super flexible. So, after that test, Pecco mentioned it a couple of times, same aero on them, which is 24 aero, and then in the middle is a hybrid of the two, with that new clutch slave cylinder and that. So Pecco can back to back the new engine in the old chassis and the
Ducati rider. What a season he had on the GP23. There are a lot of people who you speak championship battle. Just a little bit of news though of these.
You know, Ablib, we just went for it, sat down, they told us to pull some cards, and he has seen he's owned a team and been team manager for since the early 90s, and how he sees the championship, how he sees it in the past and the future, he's very interesting. One of the most interesting I've spoken to about it, really, I suppose.
And of course, welcoming Somkiat Chanter into his garage next year, season opener in Thailand next year. My first question, Bellucci, is how many passes have you got taking the place of Enea Bastianini inside the factory, the Ducati garage next year? And unfortunately, as far as the beast concerned,
in the end, finish the final Grand Prix of his full-time career in a very
so why didn't Enea beat me, on a GP24?
So leathers is being worn by Aleix Sprago. Now I know Aleix, she's a big fan of Japan, a big fan of Japanese culture. I believe HRC have got for him. It was like maybe not as much free time as I was hoping for.
Yeah, going to be cool. No doubt doing private testing. Of course, he'll be out on track at the shakedown in Malaysia at the end of January next season, and coming as a package over to Honda will certainly be an asset to that operation. And imagine the riding experience and of course the technical knowledge of Romano Albiciano will be tapped into from as early as this morning.
Even
24, pretty strongly, didn't he, Alex? An end of season charge, but ultimately got him up to 8th place overall in the championship.
Tire behavior and everything, so it looks quite good, and also from this kind of thing, so it's wow, good, no? But as I say, we have to wait, stay with the foot in the ground and work. We say several times, I heard this kind of word, pressure or responsibility. I believe that is an opportunity, because we've
been told that the 25 is a big step forward, but we regard it as an evolution.
Probably the revolution will be seen in 2027, no, as we know, so that is clear.
Fabiano, great to chat with you.
Hope the factory Ducati garage, he was influential and a key figure in dragging Ducati out of the doldrums when they went sort of winless between that 2010-2016 period. Now his big job is to make sure that Aprilia can keep hold of that #1 plate beyond, because he's fresh into that Nuali garage. But what have we spotted on the Aprilia so far?
That 25 model machine has quite a different chassis. You say ergonomics, but where a fuel tank normally is on a normal motorcycle.
For his second stint then out on the factory Aprilia, Pedro Acosta also getting ready to head out on circuit. Just as you can see on the timing town on the left hand side of your screens, Alex Marquez has made a very good start to 2025. He leads
and won, and he'll be, I guess, getting a first impression as to whether that Aprilia has the same pull off the line
to the stadium section. This would have been right at this moment on Sunday where I think he said there is Fermin Aldeguer. He's completed 16 laps on the Gresini Racing Ducati GP24. What are you looking for his progression over this sort of 2 or 3 months?
Of course, to have of course different maps to potentially use different map of the engine brake, of the acceleration. Be about I would say 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds to the top. But this 2024 season was tough. At the beginning was tough. I don't know you that despite Zarco more near to the top 10.
Lucio, and obviously credit to you and the LCR Honda team, because in 20 Grand Prix this year,
more than ever, we closely work with HRC, and also our engineers work with HRC and on the rear grip, because this is the mechanical grip is where all our riders complain more. We will try to improve the turning of the machine and the deceleration also, and yeah, it's something that we are interested to possibly provide some to give him some opportunity to race